So you want to get started with mobile application development. That is, you want to build apps for both iOS and Android and eventually publish them to the app stores. But you've heard from somewhere that getting started with Android development and iOS development implies getting a PC or laptop that is very capable, which implies that getting something that is very expensive. But the problem is you don't have enough money to get something that is very expensive. And even worse, it implies that if you want to build iOS applications, you have to get a Mac computer. And Macs are expensive. So how can you do to get started with mobile application development with the limited resources you have and actually build very interactive apps for iOS and Android? I'm ATO and I make videos about programming concepts and how to get into tech. So make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let's get started. Now the question comes, do you actually need an expensive PC or an expensive Mac computer? Short answer is yes, but long answer is it depends. Let's go with the short answer first. If you're trying to build apps using the native languages, that is for Android, you want to build apps using Java or Kotlin, you actually need a very capable computer which can run the Android simulator because it takes a lot of resources. So in that case, yes, you need a capable computer. And if you're trying to build apps only for iOS, yeah, you actually need a Mac because you need Xcode to run your app, and Xcode is only available on Mac. So in these cases, yeah, you need quite a capable computer. But in order to get started with mobile application development as a whole, that is not all the options. Luckily, you live in 2023 where life is very easy for programmers and developers. There are so many free tools out there where you can get started and build things from the ground up without actually spending a dime. So if you want to build cross-platform applications today without actually needing a powerful computer, you need to use React Native plus Expo. React Native is a framework based off the React.js library, which is used to build cross-platform mobile apps for Android and iOS. But this doesn't actually solve the problem of you needing an inexpensive laptop to get started, because with React Native, when you want to test your app, normally you still have to use the Android or the iOS simulator. And the Android simulator, as I earlier said, needs a relatively capable laptop or computer, and the iOS simulator needs a Mac. Now, how do you do to start building mobile applications with React Native if you don't have a very capable computer? That is where the Expo Platform comes into play. So the Expo framework allows you to build and run native apps using JavaScript and React Native, and using their Expo Go app. So with the Expo Go app, you can test your app directly on your Android phone or your iOS device without needing to have an Android emulator and without needing to have a Mac computer. This actually saves you a lot of resources and makes development really fast. So if you do not have a lot of money, at least you have a smartphone. And if you have either an iOS and an Android, you can start building mobile apps right now using the Expo Go app and React Native. Let's say you have an Android phone and you don't have an iOS device. You can borrow an iOS device even from a friend for a few hours just to test your app. That is how I did to build my first app and publish on the App Store. I only had one Android device and I was using React Native plus the Expo Go app. And anytime I wanted to test my app for iOS, I'll borrow my friend's iPhone and test the app on his phone before seeing if I can proceed or before seeing if I can modify some things. So you do not actually have to have a very powerful computer. You can get started with React Native and Expo Go. So I'm going to quickly show you how to set up your React Native and Expo environment and start building and testing your app using the Expo Go app. So getting started with mobile application development today is very easy. All you need to do is to go to Google and tap Node.js, and you're going to install Node.js to your computer if you don't already have it installed. You install the one recommended for most users. You just click here, you download. When it finishes downloading, you can install it. Then if you don't have Visual Studio Code yet, you go to Google, same thing, you install Visual Studio Code and you download the version that is recommended for your laptop or your PC. You install it, then run it. So once you have it installed, you can open Visual Studio Code, and this is what you're going to be presented with. You're going to see in a second how easy it is to get started with mobile application development with React Native. So we are going to be using Expo and eventually the Expo Go app to test our app. So in order to get started, you first of all need to specify where you want your project created. So I like creating it on the desktop, so I'm going to do CD desktop. I'm currently on Mac. So if your files on your system is organized differently, just know how to navigate through the directories. So I'm going to go to the desktop, do npx create expo app and write the app name. So I'll just call it example, and we click on enter. So now that we have created our project, we can then open it. I like going to the desktop itself and looking for the project. We'll just click on open, and then once the project is open, we open a new terminal, and all we need to do is to tap npx expo start, and that's it. Now that your project is launched, you're going to have these small options that come off in the terminal. If you have an iOS simulator, you tap I to run it. If you have an Android simulator, you press A, but we do not want that. We want to use the Expo Go app. So I'm currently on iOS right now, so I'm going to go to the iOS App Store in order to install the Expo Go app. We'll just tap App Store, search for Expo Go, and then I already have it installed, so I'm just going to go and open it. I have it open here. So I want to scan this QR code that was generated after launching the project. So we are going to open our camera app and scan the QR code. So here is the camera app. You just click here, you scan the QR code, and it will take you to the project and just wait for it to load. And there you have it. Our first project has been run. Now we have it and we can test it. Now let me just run a quick project I did beforehand. Let me show you how it is on my mobile phone. So here's a different project I built using React Native and Expo. As you can see, I can run it directly on my iPhone and see how it runs. And as you can see, it's interactive. You use it as if it was a normal app. If I had an Android device right now, I could run it and have the same results. So some people might say Flutter is better. Some people might tell you to start with Swift UI, Kotlin, whatever. But start with the one that you can start with right now, because the objective is not to use the best framework possible or the best language possible. The objective is to get things done. So if you're wondering how to get started with cross-platform mobile applications, this is your pathway to get started. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope it was helpful. Let me know in the comment section if it was, and if you have any questions you want me to answer, or if you want any concept explained, let me know in the comment section. I'm going to make a video about it, and make sure to leave a like, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and see you in the next one.